Because we've seen
Right, and I was young, man. I was young.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be on MTV. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I did, but I was just 19. It's not like I was making any life choices.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, I was like, oh, if you don't think that I have a talent, well, I'm going to do the hardest job in town, and I'm going to do it the best. And that started to like just get into my head. Like, you don't think I have talent? Well, let's see if I do, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So then I just got into stand-up, and I always like making people laugh. Like, I used to do a similar thing when I was a child. At the lunch table, we'd get some kids who were mentals, or a couple of them might have been mentals, and a couple kids that were well, you know, and we get there and sit them to make them drink milk and then tell jokes and do stuff until one of them just blew milk out of their face, you know? And if you get some straight up just couple mentals, boy, some straight up sawed off humans, you get them to straight up blow leche out their dome, dude. That's America right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I knew, I was like, oh, I got some kind of a gift here, you know? I almost blew the throat out of this one boy. Almost blew the throat out of this one boy named Tot. T-O-T was his name. Kind of a bad name too, to be mentally challenged, but also easy for him to spell. And I'm not joking, that's what his father said. And easy for him to spell backward and forward. Same name, Tot. So that's true, man.
Was this guy's his name was Todd?
Yeah, dude. Why are you so laughing at him?
It's just a funny sounding name. That's all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny, I guess. Tot.
Yeah, well,
you know,
let's
Tot.
talk about Tot.
Sometimes he would just say T-O-T was his name, but I knew it was Tot.
Yeah.
He would try to spell it out, and you know, like he was tricking me.
Yeah. So did you do like the open mic circuit in LA?
Yeah, started doing open mics here.
Like at Marty's or where? Like at the Comic Meltdown and stuff?
No, they had a place over on the west side of town. I lived.
Yeah.
I was sleeping under, a buddy of mine had a bed, and I was sleeping under his bed for $150 a month.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes even in his bed sometimes. When he would be out of town or when he would leave for work, I'd climb up into his bed, dude. And I've never been heavily homosexual, but I will say this, that there's nothing really gayer than getting into a man's warmth after he's already left the room, you know, and climbing up into his bed. A man you don't even really know that much, but still catching that hit off of his temperature, you know?
That's funny.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
You go over to somebody's house, dude, who you don't know that much. When they leave the room and get out of their bed, you get into their bed. That shit'll make
You never told him that, though.
That shit'll make a man out of you fast, dude, or it won't. But you find out who's who pretty quick when you're doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I remember you telling me your wife thought I was cute.
Yeah. She definitely thought you were.
Not offense that I didn't hear what you said, but I mean, like, you know, I was a 22-year-old kid. I was like,
no,
that's more exciting. You know?
You did that thing where you guys all walked from on that balance beam from air balloon to air
that's
balloon.
the first thing I ever did on there.
When the kid was freaking out, that one kid who's like the all-American kid, you were like kind of. And he was like, guys, seriously, I'm really nervous. No one make any jokes. And they were like, what was his name?
James.
They're like, James, you're up next. And you went, dead man walk.
Well, I honestly thought he was going to die. He was bow-legged, too, and only one leg. Interesting.
He only had one leg?
No, he had two legs, but one of his legs was bow-legged.
Are you serious?
Which is very rare, yeah.
But
extremely rare.
I told you, I was like, dude, when I first saw you on Road Rules, I thought you should, because I was obsessed with Road Rules. I was really obsessed with Road Rules.
It was a good show, man. They made a good show for a long time.
Oh, man.
You go all the way there and you take your talent, but you're not really making any money.
It's changed now, though, right?
Yeah, now it's a little bit better.
Because your stocks.
Now it's a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah.
But I still need to get to that extra hump, you know?
Yeah. What's the next hump for, like a special? Because I always tell Bob, like, why don't you have your fucking special out, man?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
Bob should have one, probably.
He should have at least 2 or 3 by now.
Yeah, he should.
Why?
It's a good point. I don't know.
Why doesn't he not have one?
I don't know. I think, you know what? I think he also likes to be comfortable. You know, Bobby just gets set in some spots of comfortability.
Well, with his
know?
jokes.
I think with everything. You know, he likes to pee on the balcony, you know, and he likes to just be comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I've been there, dude. I wet the bed law is probably 31.
For real?
And outside areas. But he, I think he likes to be comfortable. And sometimes you get comfortable in your set. You get comfortable knowing what is going to kill. Right. And he can kill. Bobby can go up there and murder. So why would he do anything different,
Right.
Especially he likes to act. He likes to do different things. And, I mean, to really get out there and fight to be like, the big, huge, crazy comedy star. It's also a lot of pressure. He likes to be at home.
Yeah.
He'd have to travel a lot.
Yep.
Maybe the consequences of achieving that level of notoriety on stage aren't something that he sees as being that rewarding to his lifestyle.
And he would have to write more.
Yeah, but
because once you do it on like a HBO or a whatever,
right? And he'd have to, he'd have to do the work
it's
too.
It's out.
Yeah, he'd have to do the work. I didn't want to say he didn't want to work hard, but you did, so
no.
Maybe he doesn't.
We'll
That's
talk
okay.
about it.
He probably doesn't.
Yeah. No. He's doing.
But
well.
no, he's doing fine. He's definitely doing well.
He's doing well.
He will never not do well.
He's doing good.
Bobby's the only person in the Comedy Store who could stand up there, and I would watch him stand up there for 15 minutes.
Has he done that?
Nobody could. I mean, is just something. He has this weird gift, like he's got like this fucking, wild, successful fucking Vietnamese autism, that nobody else has ever possessed. I've never seen it in anybody, and I grew up around a lot of the tism, dude.
Yeah.
Of the helium, and he was like, "Oh, it's Tom's podcast, man."
Wow.
He goes, "Tom, when Tom mentioned on his podcast, all the shows sold out," and I was like, "Wow." So then I started going, all right, so Fousey was talking about his vlog. Tom's talking about his podcast. There's something with regularity, with a number of content. Joe's like that, with putting out 2 podcasts, 3 podcasts a week.
He does that many a week. Wow.
Joe's got this game locked down.
How's he to talk to? He just started kind of like, well, give me a little bit more FaceTime,
He's great. He's great.
You see, he doesn't believe in Jesus Christ, does he?
I don't think so.
Yeah. But that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
Yeah, he might not believe in Jesus Christ, but
I mean, I think he believes.
And I'm drinking out of his mug right here, look.
I think he believes in a higher power. I mean, he's done DMT, so he's spoken to the aliens.
Really?
Here's the thing, though. He doesn't shit on people for faith.
He was just kind of like a regular guy, maybe about 6'1", but getting shorter by the hour almost because of old age.
Oh, really?
Yeah, old age takes a lot of density out of your bones. That's why if you're really old, I feel like you should almost, I don't want to say like bathe in milk, but you want to get the suppositories or something. You want to just hide calcium in your ass or whatever you got to do to bone up, to get marrow heavy. I'm serious.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm in my 40s.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You look older than that, actually, dude, a little bit. No offense. Yeah.
Because of the beanie?
Maybe that's it.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you seem like a nice guy, though.
Yeah, we met. So how do we met at my brother's birthday?
We did. Your brother invited me to a birthday off the interstate during rush hour traffic.
At the Filipino restaurant.
Yeah, and they had Filipinos there.
Yeah.
And I love your brother. He's hard to love at times. You know that. Weird place, and it's one thing that's unique to me is my childhood and my perspective of it.
Yeah, it will. You grew up in.
I grew up in Covington, Louisiana, and our town's famous. Lee Harvey Oswald went to our middle school. Pistol Pete Maravich lived and died in our town.
Really?
2 good shooters. That's the joke that I use off of that. But like Tulane University had their primate testing facility in our town. That's where most people worked at, right? So, and in 1994, like 70 infected monkeys got out in our town, and the police came to YMCA summer camp and let the oldest kids leave to help them look for these monkeys, right?
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I remember like guys, they had guys with like rebel flags in their truck. I'm like, it's not a racial thing, guys. These are fucking 70. These are chimpanzees and macaws that are loose around town. This isn't a gang that's moved in. But I remember me and a couple of other kids. I still remember having a wet bathing suit on, cornering a fucking chimpanzee outside of a Kenny Rogers Roasters with a police officer and 3 other kids, like, rah, 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 by this drive-through. And this fucking fat elf of a woman honking at us like we're ruining her, dream shake she's buying or whatever and her fucking cornbread while we're trying to fucking save our town from a fucking... Who knows what this monkey had?
From a
maybe
fucking
yellow
Planet
fever.
of the Apes apocalypse.
Yeah, maybe something Walter Reed missed. Could have been yellow fever.
Wait.
I really feel like I grew up in the stray animal belt of Louisiana, and they don't really have this anymore because everybody has pets now. But they had a long time where there was just, I felt like thousands of strays running around. Like Joey Diaz, he got bit by animals. I got jumped by a bunch of cats on my birthday once, dude. I'm not even joking, dude. And one of them, I swear to God, some of them got me on the ground, and one of them came off a fucking rooftop from next door. I swear to God, I still remember a couple of them were getting me and looking back and seeing one come from something in the air. And they had tons of stray animals where I was from. You had to infuse that in everything you did, wherever you went, or if you were going to bike or play ball.
I got jumped by a bunch of
Cats. And that'll make you feel like a little bitch, too. I mean, first of all, your dad's dying, and now there's cats jumping you. It's just really... But anyway, so I was like, we used to pull these bodies off of the interstate and bury them off the highway, right?
Holy shit.
Because dogs were getting hit there. I mean, literally, they were fucking piling up. You know? And I remember one time we found a bunch of nudie mags in the ground. Somebody had hid a bunch of, pornography in the dirt. And I remember we got down, and somebody we realized, I'd never seen any sex before, right? So somebody cut out all the pictures of the actual insertion points in these magazines. There was probably 11 pornography magazines. Club, some of the older ones, Club, finer ones, I thought, actually.
Yeah.
Penthouse. But where the exact penis and vagina insertion point happened, and in every picture, somebody cut that out.
That's odd.
And taking it with them, I guess. And I don't know if they did it because they didn't want people to see that, or they wanted to have it all, But I remember just weird shit like that. And that's when I started realizing this shit didn't happen to everybody. Like, for some reason, God put all this weird shit in front of me. And so those are the things that I need to focus on. And that's when I started thinking that I became a little bit more confident, because I know what I'm talking about, I think.
What do you mean?
Like, I know what I'm explaining a place that I know,
Yeah.
It's not like I'm trying to be like...
Oh, when you started talking about where you grew up on
just
stage,
these
you got
weird
more
things.
confidence. You knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, I knew what I was talking about. So that just helped with my confidence. So now I can tell some older jokes and bits, and there's more confidence there. But now I'm also being able to just tell new stories and still keep that same perspective that I had with these other bits.
Was there racism in Covington?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of racism. Dude, I remember one time, so I was friends with this kid named Devin Deku, because I actually really joined Black Humanity for a while when I was young. I really...
What is it with Black Humanity?
Well, just like I used to ride my bike to school, right? Because I lived in this poor neighborhood, and I didn't want to get on the bus and kids see where I was from. I didn't want to get off the poor bus at school. So I would ride my bike to school, and it was about 5 miles, right? And this was like in middle school, so like, but I'd go through the black neighborhood, like, because our neighborhood was white and black, and white at one end, black at the other end. So I'd go through there, and a lot of the blacks would get on my bike, and they honestly used to call me the nigger bus, is what they would call me. And they would be like, the nigger bus is here. And they would all get, like 3 or 4 of them would get on my bike and be on my shoulders and sitting on the front. Tall blacks, too. Like this one kid named Jonathan Smith. This kid had to be, I swear to God, he was 9 feet tall, man. And he fucking made me ride him. I literally remember the back tire he was so fucking heavy, the back tire on my bike would come off, which made me wonder, how's this bike even having any traction on the road? But then they'd have somebody on the pegs on the back and like piled up.
I'm like a Kembe Mutombo sitting on your handlebars
totally.
and your fucking bike being up.
And I didn't call myself the nigger bus. That's what they called me.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to cut all that weight. I'd rather just do this rehab. Or get clean,
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, man, it's gnarly. In that town, they'll scout you out when you're like a little. Like
Really?
the high school coach will go to the middle schools and like size you up. Like they're like kind of like. They just scout you out. They're like, "Ooh, yeah, he's gonna be
Does
good."
it feel illegal? Is it dirty over there, or is it just kind of?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it just sounds like. I mean, it's crazy. Like a lot of these. Where is Poway? First of all,
Exactly. Where is it's more inland, like Escondido. Yeah, it's not like.
Oh, I thought it was in damn Laotian or something. I think you guys were Laotian. I'm thinking like this island or something.
No, man.
It's out by the fucking
it's
airport.
in San Diego. No, it's
Oh,
in San Diego.
Jesus.
It's not Laotian.
Well, dude, just get out of town. You act like some guys coming down from the fucking mountain or coming down from the volcano and picking you guys out off the branches, man.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's a place in San Diego.
Oh.
It's a town in San
Yeah,
Diego.
we'll fucking get it together and leave.
Yeah.
You know?
So what happened was,
So then, but I remember, so I became friends with this French black kid named Devin Deku, right, in our town. And I remember I'd go over to his house, and we'd go in his house, and it was cool to just be like in a black kid's house and just kind of see what their life was like, and real intimate, and like, and I remember bathing with his sisters in this tub in their front yard. And what was it? Oh, God, I can't remember what this one. I think this dude might have been a pedophile, but he kept yelling something at us. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, Devin and I went fishing one time. Sometimes we'd go get like lunch meat or whatever and go fish, right?
Yeah.
Well, one time, these white kids are walking across this, literally these stand-by mirrors are going over this train track over this water where we're fishing down by the river. And they start throwing rocks at us and calling us the N-word.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to yell to them, I'm not the N-word, you know?
Guys!
Yeah, like,
Guys,
hey,
are you colorblind?
just one of us.
Just him!
Yeah.
I'll back off!
And Devin, my buddy Devin, is dying that I'm trying to, like, because I'm also, I think I'm mildly doing it to entertain him,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it was, but at the same time, dodging rocks from these racist kids who obviously have poor eyesight, you know? So I don't know. I mean, just things like that, just growing up in a place that was unique. So that's what I've started to incorporate, keeping that mentality.
No, because
you went a couple years in a row.
I qualified from sophomore year on.
Okay, so 3 times he had to drive up there for his brother?
3 times I choked at state. So sorry, Brandstetter. That's my coach. Yeah, man, I moved on.
Now you look like a wrestler a little bit.
Well, no, I was the little guy. I was a 103 pounder.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I was a little guy. Yeah.
Do you feel small or you feel, how do
know.
you feel on the inside?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Like whatever. I mean, I'm just like a regular height, you know, I'm like
Yeah.
6 foot tall. But you are probably, what height are you, 5'4", 5'6"?
Yeah, I'm like, 5'4", 5'5". I'm a $135, $140, if that.
When you get up out of bed, is it like, it seemed like you get out of bed really quick at that
I
size.
can. I'm kind of like my brother because we like rely. We
You
used
can
to
get in the refrigerator, can't you, if you wanted? If you took the shelves out.
I probably could if I like
That's cool,
crunched
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to think of fun things you like seem like you could probably do if you were just like kind of a more regular height, you know, or just like your unique height, you know?
Yeah.
Like, not in a bad way. I'm just
Yeah.
like, there's some things, if I look at a place, I'm like, oh, I can't get under that, or I can't do this, you know?
How
I can't
tall are you? How big
jump
are you?
on that person's back or anything.
Yeah.
Like, you seem like you could be more fun, probably.
Well, like, what do you mean by that?
Like, I think people look at you and like, oh, this guy's probably more fun.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, if they had a more fun contest and you had 100 people, who's more fun? I bet 80 of them
I
would
like
pick
having
you.
fun. Yeah, I like having
see?
fun. Yeah, I don't drink alcohol or I don't smoke marijuana anymore though.
Yeah, me neither.
Look, one of my favorite people ever. I know we've talked about him, so I'll just leave it at that. Is CT? Oh. That guy's fucking fascinating. I still to this day find the
Literally, that was me spitting my coffee up. Fascinating's a good word. But that's another reason why I quit going on the show. Is like, this dude was knocking out whoever else was on the show. I'm like, I'm not ruining my life by getting knocked out by this freaking hypothalamic gland that's over.
I'd totally get punched by him if I ran into him, because I'd be like, oh, fuck, CT. And he'd be like, bam.
Yeah. So, I don't even know him, but I just couldn't deal. I couldn't deal with that. So anyway, we're on this bus, right?
Yeah.
And the big rule, this young kid's rule was, who wasn't sleeping, was no shitting on this bus, right? And the first day I was like, guys, don't use the restroom. But after about 40 hours of no sleep, he's like, I dare somebody to shit on this motherfucker, right? So literally we're on like day 3 on one of these tours, and we're somewhere, and it's fucking 11 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah.
And I tell this dude, bro, Miss Margaret, who is the older karaoke
Miss
woman.
Margaret. Yeah.
Just shit in the shitter, right? And this dude has not slept, bro. He's doing it all, no-nos, whatever, driving a fucking $500,000 bus, right, with 7 human beings living in it, and whatever girl who was banged and is still asleep in one of these, pods, and who's going to wake up in White Plains, New York, and have 2 options. 1, take a Greyhound home, or 2, be our merch girl. Which
Be our merch girl.
which really was nothing because there was no merch.
Be our merch girl.
So next thing you know, this lady comes out of the bathroom. She'd probably just urinated or put on some extra lipstick, right? But I'm like, dude, Miss Margaret just took a shit in there, right? So this dude fucking pulls the bus over on the interstate, has lost his mind, jumps out of his seat, jumps on Miss Margaret, right?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Starts literally choking this lady out on the floor, bro. I'm not joking. Miss Margaret's partner, Mr. Dan, right, who is the male karaoke guy, literally cannot bend over to help because he had a bad back, right? He had best posture I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I also think he had a rod in his back, or maybe 2 rods.
Yeah.
But could not bend down to help, so he was just like yelling. I'm like, should I get somebody to help? Should I not get somebody to help, bro? This is hella fucking exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's midnight, and there's a fucking the skinniest guy ever who hasn't slept in 2.5 days choking out an adult woman who's selling hangover beverages and doing karaoke. I am dying.
She's like, help! I need somebody! Help!
And I'm like, where do I sign up for Riders on the Storm, right? Can we do that song next? So finally, Abram comes from the back, right? And he's like, oh, this is good. He's fucking shoving corn nuts into his mouth, bro. He always had corn nuts. Literally throwing them, and he's like, oh, this is good. Fast forward anyway, a half hour when the cops show up and everything, they're going to kick the driver out. They got to get rid of this kid. It's not safe, apparently.
Yeah.
So they're like, drive to the next stop, and we're going to get a new driver in. So we get to the next stop, which was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my buddy Tim Beggy actually lived there. And
Tim.
He was on Road Rules. He was a Road Rules guy, and he had some shows on the Travel Channel for a while.
Did he really?
Yeah.